What's going on, everyone? It's Sheena, aka Sheenapreneur, your favorite veteran. Today I want to talk about the 10 things you need in order to start your government contracting business. Ooh! So those who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those who have rocked with me for a little while, welcome back. And this is just a really quick, down and dirty video explaining what you really truly need in order to get started in your government contracting journey. So the very first thing is the idea. What is your idea? What are you selling? What are you selling? What are you selling to the government? What do you want to sell? What are you good at? What have you done in the past? What makes sense? If you speak multiple languages, maybe you want to start there, or maybe you want to include that in the business that you're going to start. That's landscaping. Maybe you do landscaping, but then you're like, well, I speak multiple languages too, so I'm gonna sell both of those to the government, Sheena. That's totally fine. So what is your idea is number one. What are you selling to the government? What do you feel comfortable doing that if it ends up being stressful, like when it's not sexy anymore, what can you still do every day when you wake up and you have to continue this business? Because of course we already hoping that your business grows bigger than you to where you can't even stop because everyone's depending on it and it's such a great service and you creating jobs and all these beautiful things. So you want your business to be bigger than you essentially. So what is that idea that you think is going to be beneficial for you and beneficial for others if others are a factor in your business? So my company, Foresight Industries, we do inside and outside maintenance. So that includes landscaping, that includes painting, drywall, pressure washing, litter pickup, flooring, floor waxing, janitorial, all these things. And so that's not typical. That's not conventional, especially when I have an IT background. In the Army, I did IT for 20 years. I was a software engineer for a very large IT company in Atlanta, but I didn't want to do that. So I just ended up doing something totally different. I liked real estate. I liked renovating. So I was like, oh, that facility maintenance, that's perfect. Facility management. Or if you're looking at federal, it's facility support services. So I wanted to do that. That's how I transitioned, is I didn't want to do IT. Still to this day, I'm like, no, what are we at? 7 years in, still don't want to do IT. So I'm like, nah, I like what I'm doing. I like to be able to create jobs. And I kind of just like the industry. So it works for me. So number one would be, what's your idea? What are you selling to the government? What do you feel comfortable doing? What makes sense to you? No one else can pick that but you. I would say to stick to no more than two, because there's some serial entrepreneurs out there where you've done everything under the sun. I'm one of those. I had so many different businesses throughout the years since I was the age of 12. So you might say, Sheena, but I got all these licenses. I can sell insurance. I sell real estate. I have a CDL. I can do all these things. Well, two. I'm giving you a maximum of two. Don't do any more than two, because you can't be the jack of all trades. That's not what the government wants to see. That's not even what you want to deal with. Because if you're making enough money with one thing, why would you want to do 5 things? Because a lot of times when we have 5, 6, 7 businesses, a couple of those businesses are not making money. Just be real. Now, if it's a passion project, that's cool. That's something that you want to do. No biggie. Do your passion project. Your passion project can also be your business, but just make sure that it makes sense and you don't want to be, think through, can I do this every single day? Or can I employ someone to do this every single day and talk about it and think about it and it becomes a part of my life? That's what you need to make sure that it works for you. That's how you choose what it is that you actually want to do. So what's the idea? That's number one. Number two, you got to get your business legal. That's registering with the Secretary of State. That's getting your EIN. If you need a business license, not everyone needs a business license or occupancy license, but definitely a business license if you need that. A lot of times, especially when working with local government, they do want to see a business license. For all my veterans out there, so business licenses are free for veterans. Now, that you may run into a location where they're like, oh, we don't do that. Ask to speak to a supervisor or something, but you might have to bring that information to them, that business licenses across the country. Now, if someone runs into a situation that they are in a state or it really goes by the county, but it could be by the city. So if you run into a county or a city that says, no, we don't give business licenses for free to veterans, let me know, because make sure you give them your documentation or whatever they're asking for. But I haven't heard anyone come back to me yet and say that they were not able to get a free business license. But anyway, that's beside the point. You got to get the business legal. Secretary of State, business license, EIN, business bank account, our account as being legal, making sure you have all the relevant relevant permits and licenses and certifications, all those things to get your business legal. You have to do that. You can't say, unless you're going to be essentially like a solo. I did a video on solopreneur government contracting. That's a little different. But if you're going to be doing this as a business owner, like you're not trying to self-employ yourself, you're building a business, then you need to make sure that you get your business legal. Like that's regular business stuff, guys. That's regular business stuff. And you have to ensure that you're doing this the right way. Whatever the government is asking for, pretty much, that's what you need to provide for the most part. And then the next thing would be number 3 would be finding the money. Who is buying what you're selling? For the most part, with my company, Foresight, pretty much everybody buys at least janitorial. Everyone pretty much buys, pressure washing. We're usually working with structures. So there's really not, I can't think of an agency where I have not been able to effectively provide a service for. But if you're in a specialty niche or, just you haven't seen any bids out for what you do, then you just have to find the ones that do buy the service that you provide. It's possible that you might be the person that brings that contract to them, like an unsolicited proposal, or they just don't even know how to put out a bid for what you offer. That is very much so possible. But for the most part, you want to follow where the money is. Follow where that agency or who that agency is that wants to buy your service. Otherwise, you'll be spinning your wheels. So you want to make sure that you're following that. So number 4 would be, make sure that you find a way to tell everyone what you do. If you're ashamed, then you probably shouldn't be doing that thing. I joke, but we scrub toilets for a living, making 7-8 figures scrubbing toilets. We do more than that, but I just throw that as like the punchline because it's, tell people what you do so people can think about you when someone needs that service. If it's interpreter services, I know someone that does interpreter services, or they can speak multiple languages. Maybe they weren't originally doing interpreter services, but I know this person speaks multiple languages, so I'm going to ask them if they can do interpreter services for this contract that I saw, and maybe we can partner on it or something like that. So you want to let people know, what do you do, and make it simple. There's a long formality of giving your intro, and then there's a super simple thing. Like if I tell people I clean toilets, most people can remember that. And we do inside and outside facilities. So it's letting people know like, oh, you do outside stuff too, not just painting and drywall on the inside, but you also do litter pickup and pressure washing on the outside, amongst other things. So let everybody know. Everyone needs to know what you do, including your children. If you got children who are older, who are adults, I've had my kids go through a quiz. I'm like, what does Foresight Industries do? And my kids have worked in my company before, but sometimes these teenagers, they don't really, they're not really paying attention like that. The number 5 thing is to make sure that you have an online presence. You never know. We've gotten a couple of commercial contracts, actually. They weren't quite corporate, but they were commercial contracts based on our social media presence. So that includes having an Instagram, definitely having a LinkedIn, a personal LinkedIn, and then also a business LinkedIn page. Having a Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, one of those two, and definitely having a website, having your business cards or a digital business card, just having a presence online is super, super important. Even if you have like a website for you as a person, and then also having a website for your business, all those things matter because people just want to look up your company to see what it's about. Make sure that you create a Google page, like a Google business page. That is a few steps, but it won't take long. And especially if you're doing something that's related to, if you have a brick and mortar, or if you have services that you also want to provide to maybe other businesses, definitely create that Google business page. So the number 6 thing is having a location, like knowing your location. Are you going to be online? Are you going to have a brick and mortar? Knowing the best place to have a brick and mortar if you're going to have that. And for those who don't know what brick and mortar is, that is having a physical location, or like a building, a storefront. And those who are doing online business, if you're just going to be working from your office like I've been doing for the last 7 years, over 7 years really, then you need to know which one you're going to do, and if you're going to do that, how you're going to do that. If you're going to do like a commercial space shared with someone, if you're going to do like a WeWork. And just remember, when it comes to federal, you have to have a physical address, so that may be your home address. So you might opt to actually getting a physical location in lieu of using your home address. And that's pretty much for federal and not really for local. So just make sure that you know which one you decide to do. Now you may change it later on, but it's important to know, I need a location and I need to find the best location for the money. And especially if you're not making any money yet, then you want to ensure that you have something that's not going to be like a money pit, especially if you're buying or whatever the case may be. So that's the number 6 thing. So the number 7 thing is, how are you going to fund this contract? I have a couple of videos about funding your contract, and I'll leave them in the description. But how are you going to fund it? Are you using your own personal money? Are you using your 401k, your TSP if you are military? Are you asking friends and family? Do you have a trust fund? Do you have some other type of way, some access to capital, personal access to capital? I know a lot of people say never, ever, ever do that, and I got you. That's fine. Don't come for me in the comments. But if you have the ability to have access to capital for your personal funds, who else is going to believe in you more than you? So if you want to go get figure out a way, if you have business credit or you want to get business credit and you want to use other people's money or a bank, then absolutely go that route so you can build up your business credit even more to get more money. But if you don't have access to that, but you do have personal funds, why are you not using your personal funds if you believe in your business? You don't believe in yourself. You don't believe that you're going to be able to make money. Make it make sense for yourself though. Don't go into foreclosure. Don't go into bankruptcy using all your money. But just, if you can borrow some money from yourself and with the hopes and the idea that you're actually going to be able to pay it back, absolutely, I would say use your personal funds, your credit cards, whatever you can. Just don't hurt yourself in the process as much as possible. So, everybody does it. Everybody pretends like they just use other people's money and they're using their own money. So don't let the internet fool you, okay? So the number 8 thing is to register everywhere. And that's, if you're going to be doing federal, absolutely, you know where to register. You're going to register in sam.gov, and after you get your stuff legal, then you're going to register in sam.gov so you can start looking for opportunities for federal contracts. Now, if you're doing local, then you need to register in your local city, your local county, your local state, not your local, but the state you're in or the states that you want to participate in doing bids with. Could be, I have a few traveling nurse students and others who have, I've had on the channel, and so they're in different states quite a bit. So not necessarily that you want to be other state that where you live. Maybe you don't want to do that state. Maybe you want to do your home state where you're from and just do contracts there, and that's a way for you to go home, whatever the case may be. Then you can do register in whatever state you want to provide services for. Now, of course, make sure it's something that you can get to. Now, if you live in Florida and you're bidding on a contract in Alaska, you may not, that may not be the best bang for your buck if it's a small contract, or you don't want to go to Alaska, those types of things. Just make sure it makes sense for you. So, how are you going, where are you going to register? You're going to register in your local area. When I first started, I registered right in the metro Atlanta area. I didn't want to go outside of that because I wanted to be able to get to where I needed to get to fast. I had a contractor that I was working with, and so he had to be able to get to those locations fast. So we didn't go outside of an hour and a half of Atlanta, honestly. Really 2 hours within the metro Atlanta area, but like maybe a little bit outside of the perimeter. So there was plenty of work. So it wasn't an issue. We did eventually branch out, and now we do contracts in multiple states. But, there was several things that led to that, and a dollar and a dream, just hoping that things would work out. And luckily, for the most part, almost all of them did. Now, not all of them, but most of them did. So, you register in these different portals, and the quickest way, I did a video on registering as a vendor, but quickest way is to Google whatever city or county or state you want to do work in. Always start with the state that you are in, if possible, or the state maybe you're from, if possible, or where you want to do services or provide a product. Just Google whatever that city is, procurement. City of Boston, procurement. City of Atlanta, procurement. State of Georgia, procurement. Something like that. So just make sure that you register everywhere you can. It's time consuming. Yes, it's time consuming, but it's free. It's free. So it makes no sense to, not take advantage of something that could actually come to you, and you won't have to go out and bid. You can actually have the ITBs, which is invitation to bid, or even RFQs, which is a request for quote. Those can come to your email because you're registered as a vendor in some of these local portals for local contracting. So the next thing would be you have to eventually hire help. So whether that's one admin that can help you with paperwork, or even someone that can help you with registering in all these websites. That is super important because especially if you're working, let's say you're working full time, or you just have other obligations, having someone, even if you hire them super part time, you'll be surprised. There are people who are willing to work 5 hours a week, 1 hour a day, or 10 hours a week, 2 hours a day to do just admin stuff for you. If you have kids that you trust your kids. My daughter worked for me when she was 14, and she did an exceptional job putting together the documentation that I needed for contracts. She was fantastic. Fantastico. Really, really smart kid. She just did exactly what I told her. And sometimes that's better because, she's not tainted by the world. That was like I think that was her first job or second job. And she's 19 now, going on and doing great things, but she worked for me at age 14 and she was exceptional. So it can be done really by anyone as long as you're giving them the instructions, as long as you know what you need them to do. That's one of the biggest key components when a lot of people don't know, what their admin, especially if you're hiring overseas, you don't know what they're supposed to do. You need to know what they need to do. You need to know what you need to do in order to tell them what they need to do in order for you to maximize your time with that admin, and it won't be a frustrating experience or as frustrating of an experience. So you can hire someone super part-time, eventually they can help you grow so you can pay them more and more hours. That's important because a lot of us are running around with our heads cut off and we just need help. We just need someone to do the admin stuff, or just answer my email, or just answer calls. And that makes, life potentially a lot easier. So the next thing is you need a system that goes along with the admin. How are you going to track all these documents that you have? I would strongly suggest not keeping all your documents on a computer, because if the computer crashes, bye-bye your stuff. Now, we have a lot of digitized documentation in 2024 and beyond, but, you have to go out and download it and register or log into the website and, all these things to kind of get this documentation back. So I would strongly suggest, if possible, keeping all of your documents, especially in the cloud, because I know the cloud can be sketchy or whatever, but what is the other alternative? Having a hard drive. I've had a hard drive that corrupted before, lost all my stuff. It was so painful. Oh my God. Lost all my stuff. And with the cloud, everyone's cloud-based now. And to me, it's a lot easier because I can have it on I got 3 computers, 3 phones. So if I need something, I can just boop, 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 like get the phone and download a document, work from anywhere. And I don't necessarily have to lug my laptop around. I still carry my baby around everywhere I go, but I can, this is my mobile office, right? With my bag and my laptop in there. I carry my laptop everywhere, but I still am able to do stuff on my phone if I can't get Wi-Fi, my battery dies or something. So it's good to have your stuff in the cloud because you have instant access to it. So having a system, Google, whether it's Google Workplace, they have a Workspace, they have a lot of internal systems within Google Workspace that you can use for everything under the sun, like building charts and time tracking systems and all other kind of things that you can use within Google Workspace. And they usually be like either free or low cost because you are paying for Google Workspace. Google Workspace is, it used to be called G Suite, but it's about, I think now, I swear, when I got into it, it was like $8 per person. But now I believe it's $15 per person, which is per person per month. So if it's just you for now, or if you're using an info email or a support email or something like that, like info@yourbusinessname.com, then you can just have that and maybe share your passwords with your admin just to save money for now. Or you can, pay per person, and it's like $15 per month per person. And so Google Workspace is one of the best ones to me. I'm sure there's others. And a matter of fact, if you know of a really good system, we use Asana, Slack, Google Workspace specifically for my company, Foresight Industry. But, I use some other stuff with the course and other types of stuff. But for the most part, I use those 3, Google Workspace, Slack, and Asana. I use those for everything I do. So, and Evernote. Ooh! Evernote is my baby. You hear me? Like, if I have thoughts that I have and I need to just jot it down real quick, I can go to Evernote on the phone, on the computer, and just jot those notes down. And then if I'm in the spirit of creating a whole bunch of content all at once, I can have them separated in Evernote. Some people use, if you have iPhone, it already has a note app built in, and pretty much all phones do at this point. But I use Evernote because I can it's within the cloud, and it's easier for me to get to because I do have an Android as well. But yeah, so you need to have a system. And if anyone knows any good systems that they use, I'm thinking about getting back into HubSpot. It's just another thing, right? But if you have any other systems, please leave them in the comments. I want to hear about them and why you like them or what you use it for. That would be great. We have our GovCon Moneymakers community, which is 100% free, and we share information, we share wins, ask questions, answer questions within there. So make sure you check it out. The link is in the description. I have my GovConNOW course that teaches you about federal, local, and corporate contracting. I have a section for my veterans, and I also have, if you're brand new, how to start your business as well. And you have, with that mentorship program and the course, you have unlimited access to me. That includes if you have a bid that you need to work on. You're like, help, Sheena, SOS, I need help. I need to do this bid, then I can help with that. And especially if you're in my industry, then you can use our past performance because that's what we do. Okay, and that's a part of the mentorship program as well. So if you have any videos you want me to do, please leave them in the comments below. I want to hear what you guys got to say. Share your wins. Please share your wins in the comments. Those things, I highlight those things. I post them on my social media. They just just means so much, especially if you got it from me. Like, I'm not necessarily worried if you are following other people. This is the government contracting, community is a beautiful one, and there's enough money for all of us. And I don't dislike anyone who is out there teaching the gospel about government contractors. So if you want to share your wins and just say, because of YouTube, I was able to secure a contract, I want to hear that stuff so I can highlight you. So until next time, it is your favorite veteran.